Hello, this is Arsene Wenger and you are listening to Highbury and Heels.
Welcome to another Highbury and Heels, episode 17, and today it's just Amanda and myself, but I say that loosely because we are also joined by Harry Symeou, who is a Arsenal podcaster. You may have heard and listened to the Chronicles of a Gooner. He's also an author. He has a book coming out this summer, which we'll tell us a little bit about later on. But he is an Arsenal fan first and foremost, so that officially makes him our Arsenal fan of the week. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you for having me. And hello, ladies.
Hello. And Amanda, of course. I saved the best till last. Natch. Hello.
Obs. Hello, darling. Yeah. How are you? Hello, Harry. Welcome.
Hi, Amanda.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much.
It's our turn now to grill you.
Bring it on.
Exactly. On today's football menu, thank God that Interdull, as Amanda likes to call it, is almost done. Most people call it Interlull. She calls it an Interdull. The Premier League is back this weekend. We have a Europa League preview. We're going to talk a little bit about Jack. Do we pay him or send him packing? We've got some predictions and a little bit of Snog, Marry, Avoid and a fun quick fire round that I have for Amanda and Harry. So let's get on with the business at hand. The Interlull, what a crock of shit it is at this time of year. And listen, I grew up loving the World Cup. I remember sitting in front of the TV glued. It was one of the highlights. I couldn't even believe we had to wait for it every 4 years. But these friendlies at this time of the season really interfere with proper football. How have you coped, Amanda, first?
Oh, I haven't coped. I don't cope well with interdulls. I'm not really into international football. I switched on the other day, watched a bit of England, switched off. Bored. And it's been a long time and we're still not playing till Sunday afternoon. You know, it's not even Saturday, is it?
It's like an eternity. It's an eternity of waiting and wanting. And as awful as we've been, Harry, I thought I would have welcomed this break, but I actually have missed it all. And I've even missed the Arsenal. How about yourself? Have you coped? And do you even care about these friendlies?
Do you know what? I don't care about the friendlies, if I'm being completely honest. I am a fan of international football when it comes to the major tournaments because I think they're brilliant. They give you, 3-4 weeks at a time of just pure football and they're fantastic. But like you said, these friendly breaks are they seem so meaningless to me. I get it. Managers want to get their players on the training ground. They want to suss things out ahead of the World Cup. For me, I just find it boring. It's definitely not my cup of tea. But on the plus side, because there is a plus side, I think my wife likes the international break because I tend to spend a lot more time with her during those weekends, so she always looks forward to it for one thing.
So your wife is definitely not a World Cup widow. There's a lot of them out there. I remember when we're promoting films and stuff like that, we specifically target women who really don't like football, and we do all these promotions and campaigns geared towards them, and they'd be called World Cup widow campaigns. But anyway, I digress. Don't let me digress. Because as I've said before, really weird things happen when that happens. Before we just get off this dull conversation, there's one reason why I'm always excited about the World Cup. And I've only got one team to support this year, which is a bit, terrible because Greece are usually in it. I live in the United States, of course, and they didn't make it this year. And I don't know if I'm ever going to see the day when Cyprus are in the World Cup. Never say never. But how excited are we really about England winning the World Cup when you take into consideration how many Spurs players there are on this team? Have you guys thought about that at all? Like that let's say we win it, which it's a stretch. I know. I'm just asking you to play the what if game here. If we did, there would be world champions on Spurs team. How does that make you feel, Harry?
Well, it's a bit like back in '66, isn't it, where West Ham seems to claim they've won the World Cup, and they do that because they don't win much else. And it would be the same with Spurs, wouldn't it? Spurs would be claiming something because they don't win anything of their own. I don't think that's a problem we're going to have to worry about it is sad to say, but I don't think England are strong enough to go all the way in the World Cup. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they crashed out in the group stages, because I just think this team is so inexperienced and lacks real quality. So I'm not too concerned about that whole Spurs thing at the moment, because in my mind, that's definitely not going to happen.
Amanda, do you have any dark thoughts about this?
I've not really thought about that before until you said it.
Uh-oh. Now planted a seed in your head now. What are you going to do about it?
I work with West Ham fans that continuously say we won the World Cup. Yeah, that could be an issue for me. Not really thought about it. I don't think we got to worry, to be honest. Do you?
No. I don't know. It's one of those weird, I don't know, it could be a weird World Cup year. Is it going to be like a Leicester type situation? I'm just glad that there's not a Tottenham. I don't think there's a Tottenham fan who's an editor of a major newspaper, because they could pull a Piers Morgan, which was brilliant. Do you remember when France won the World Cup and he was the editor of the Mirror and he had Vieira and Petit on the cover saying Arsenal won the World Cup, one of the greatest headlines ever. So anyway, enough about the Interdull and the Interlull. Let's get back to business. The Premier League is back. This is it. We're going into the final act of the season. No more breaks, no more crap friendlies. We've got nothing to live for other than one thing, and we'll get to the Europa League in just a second. But I want to bring something to your guys' attention, because our run-in to the end, other than Manchester United, I think is easy. Now, maybe I say that loosely because nothing's been easy for us this season. And I know we're going to hear all about the teams that we're playing are all battling for relegation, but these are teams that we should be beating. Stoke, West Ham, Southampton, Newcastle, Burnley, Huddersfield, and Leicester, right? How many of those games, Amanda, do you see us winning? Can we go on a run? Is it the kind of season where the run we usually go on, we won't see? Your thoughts behind my prediction that we can win every single game if we show up.
Well, Burnley's going to be a 6-pointer, isn't it? Because they're our rivals at the moment. Stoke, West Ham, Southampton, Newcastle, Huddersfield and Leicester. I'm not being funny, Soph. Even to say that we could, after the season we've had, I couldn't call any of it. I couldn't. And we won 3 games, didn't we? And then the Interdull started. So we had a break when we really didn't want one. The momentum was there. I'm not sure how they're going to come back. Stoke, look, as I always say, there's no easy games in the Premier League. When you look at it, okay, so I say, and I'm joshing a little bit, right? Because these are games in any other season, Harry, we would win and have won, and we've gone on those runs. But let me put it to you this way then. Let's just say we don't win the Europa League. Let's just say the Europa League, we're not in it, right? Mm-hmm. This doesn't even exist right now. I would prefer that we actually don't finish above Burnley and we don't qualify for Europa League next year, and we focus on getting better and being back to our best in the Premier League. Is that a fair or foul statement to make?
I get what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. My only thing would be that when you look at the way Arsenal Football Club is being run at the moment, and you look at the way we're being told that we can't compete financially with the likes of Manchester City and Chelsea and Manchester United in the transfer market or in terms of wages. I think if we was to not qualify for Europe, you'd be giving the board further ammunition, and that would be their line. That would be their way of justifying the fact that we can't compete. And for me, I never want to see Arsenal not qualify for Europe. I love European football. I've made no secret of it this season that the Europa League doesn't really excite me. It didn't excite me until we got Milan, because I like playing against Europe's biggest clubs. They might not be one of the finest anymore, but they are one of the biggest clubs. But yeah, it's a fair statement. The only foul bit I'd say is that, in my opinion, if we was to not qualify for Europe, that would give the board another excuse to withhold some funds and say that, we need Wenger because he can work on a tight budget.
Yeah, I want to get stuck into the Europa League in just a few. But Amanda, do you agree or disagree with Harry? I mean, do you care less if we finish above Burnley?
Yeah,
really?
I do. I want to be in the Europa League next year. Definitely. I want to be in Europe. I want to win it. I want to win every single game. I don't understand the mentality of people saying to me, well, if we lose every game, he'll go. He's going anyway. Full stop. Even if he lifts the trophy, he's going upstairs. I'm positive of this. Or he's leaving Arsenal completely. It's done. He's done. And, you know, what he's come out with today, which we'll discuss in a minute, the ageism, it's beyond me. I think I want to win every single game, and I want to win in Lyon, and I want to go to Lyon as well.
All right. So listen, I'm going to circle back. I just want to wrap up the Premier League discussion, because one of the things I think is fun to do, especially, you know, seeing as we haven't been so great, is as we go now into the final act of the season, is to predict our final top 4 and our 3 relegated teams. And so, Harry, you are in on this. Okay. Tell me, what does your top 4 look like at the end of May when the dust has settled and the season? Well, let's say it's really been a boring season, hasn't it? I mean, it has been, considering Manchester City have run away with it. And it's not just in the Premier League. It's happening in La Liga. It's happening in Bundesliga. It's happening in Liga. The only league that's still somewhat exciting is Serie A. So your thoughts on the top 4? Why don't we just say the rest of the top 4? How does that look at the end of the season?
So, of course, Manchester City first. Manchester United would be second for me. I'd probably go with Liverpool third and Spurs fourth at the moment, based on sort of Chelsea struggling to find sort of some consistency. My bottom 3 is difficult. It's really, really difficult. West Brom are gone for me, definitely. I would have said Swansea a few months back, but Carlos Carvalhal's come in and turned things around. I fear for Stoke at the moment. I think Stoke could be in there.
Let's put the dagger in on Sunday.
Which I've still not forgiven them for that challenge on Aaron Ramsey all those years ago. So I wouldn't mind seeing Stoke go down. The third one is really, really difficult.
That's really where the excitement is for us for the rest of the season. If you're a fan of the Premier League and a fan of English football, the relegation battle, when you look at this, I'll tell you guys, right? In 8th, are you moving shit again, Harry?
I've not moved.
If you look at the relegation battle, 10th place is Bournemouth on 36 points. And then in 17th place, one above the relegation, is West Ham on 30. So your team, your third team, Harry, could be anyone between Bournemouth, Watford, Brighton, Newcastle. Swansea is still in there. Huddersfield, Palace, West Ham. Southampton.
I'm going to go Southampton. I'm going to go Southampton.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Southampton.
Amanda, what about you?
Okay, so I'm slightly different. I'm going City, Liverpool, United, Spurs. That's what I think.
City, Liverpool. Wow, you think Liverpool going to finish second? Is that your heart? Is that your heart versus your head?
I just think that I think Salah, Firmino, Mane. That's all I'm going to say. Spurs will get 4th. Chelsea will be 5th, and I think we'll be 6th. I think who's going down? West Brom, Stoke, and Huddersfield. I think that. I agree with Harry on West Brom. Stoke, I'd love to go down because I can't stand anything about them at all, one bit. And I think the way they've behaved with us over the years is absolutely disgraceful. The club, the fans, everything. You know, booing Ramsey when he was the one that got bleeding injured. And Huddersfield, unfortunately, I think they're suffering. I think they're suffering. And I think, look, as we know, there are 5 or 6 teams that could go. This will be, unfortunately, the excitement for us. You're correct.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I think it's great for English football that Stoke and West Brom could be relegated from the Premier League. Anti-football, dirty teams. The West Brom, what they did in Spain, and then Pardew rewards Johnny Evans, who, thank God we dodged a bullet there, making him captain again after that debacle, terrible behaviour. Stoke, Shawcross, and their antics in the past, Amanda, you're absolutely right. Let's see a Wolves come up, and let's see another team come up from the Championship that warrants being in the Premier League. And I hope Huddersfield survive, actually. I think their fans have been brilliant this season, and I think they have, just such a great vibe about them. I fear for Crystal Palace and West Ham. And I tell you, if West Ham end up being the third team that go down, boom, the trifecta is done.
They'll have to get the army out.
I tell you, they have ruined themselves. They had no business moving to that stadium. They had such an intimate feel at Upton Park, didn't they? And because of money, talk about a money move blow up in your face. And it will blow up in West Ham's face, and they'll fully deserve it. Right then, let's get back to some Gooner talk. All right, let's get stuck into the Europa League here. Now, before we talk about some of the other teams, I want to get you guys in your guys' heads to look within ourselves first. Amanda, what do you think is our biggest challenge as a team as we head into the quarterfinals? Forget anything around us. Looking from within, what is our biggest challenge?
Confidence, belief, playing as a team, turning up to matches and defending. That's it.
That's a pretty good list, Harry. Can you beat that one?
I'm just going to say complacency, because although we haven't had a great season, everybody knows that. I just feel as though, there's an arrogance about Premier League clubs. And when you're going to go into these sort of competitions in the Europa League where perhaps, some of the less glamorous teams are in there that we maybe don't know so much about, I think we can get complacent at times. Look, I don't want to be negative, but for example, when Milan scored at the Emirates, I thought, here we go again. The way it just looked as though it was going to go sort of tits up. But thankfully, we got that penalty straight away, and that sort of killed them. But, had the referee not been sleeping, then, things could have been so different. So I think that was a warning sign that, you could go and win away from home, but there are quality sides in this competition and they can turn up. And, if you're not on your A game, you'll struggle.
And we saw that against Ostersands, didn't we? We did exactly what you said, complacent and, walking into a game thinking that we can win. Okay, so staying within our own four stadium walls, who is our most important player going into these two matches against Moscow? And it's such a shame that we can't change the rules so Aubameyang can play. But who do you think, Amanda, is our most important player? You can only pick one.
This is tough, Soph.
Well, I asked a tough question.
Oh, you can't. Can we pick two?
No.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? I suppose Koscielny, in a way, our defence.
Whoa, out of left field. I wasn't expecting that one.
I know, but I mean, we've got to be able to defend. We're
Do you say that about Koscielny because of the way we've capitulated without him sometimes in Europe when he's gone off? It's an interesting choice. I wasn't expecting you to pick a defensive player only because they're all crap mostly this season. But Harry, who's yours?
I'm going to say Ozil. I know he gets a lot of stick, but for me, he possesses that extra bit of quality that he puts him head and shoulders above everybody else. And I think in this competition, if he's on his A game, he can really dictate games and pull strings. I just come to accept the fact that Arsenal can't defend. So I look at our attacking players to get us out of any situations we find ourselves in. And I think that's just a consequence of watching a Wenger team for so many years now. But yeah, I'd look at Mesut Ozil. I'd like to pick two as well, but maybe
the second question you guys will get that second. Look at you complaining over there, eh? I don't know how much hard work's gone into coming up with that one question. Okay, so mine is Mkhitaryan, by the way, in case you wanted to know. I mean, I feel like, having seen what he did for Manchester United in Europa League last year, I think, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey could be the one that unlocks the key more so than Ozil. So here, you moany mares, who do you think could be our trump card off the bench? I was going to ask off the bench, but now, seeing as you both bitch so much, I'm going to just ask, who do you think could be our trump card? Amanda, seeing as you made the biggest complaint first.
Oh, Welbeck. Don't ask. I've really left fielded you today, haven't I?
Yeah, I'm totally blown away.
Yeah, I know you are, because I was going for Ozil, but before Harry, because you know I would, and I thought of Mkhitaryan, funny enough. But to me, it's very, very important we don't concede a goal against them, and bring them back to the Emirates. We need to get that away. Well, everyone knows we need to get that away goal.
Is the first leg is at home, isn't it? Is it at home, Harry?
Right.
Yeah, first leg's at home. So you're
is
right.
it? Sorry. Yeah. That means I'm going to football next week. I've just realised Thursday week. Yeah. Sorry.
You got to go twice.
Yeah.
You got to go Sunday and Thursday.
Oh, thanks.
You're busy.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I get 2 in 5 days. Yeah. Sorry. No, that's why I went for Koscielny first. That's what I'm thinking, is that we cannot concede at home. I will take 0-0 now. 0-0. I'll take it now, because I love playing the second leg away from home. No one else does, but I do, because you've always got that chance. If we're 1-0 down, we get a goal, we're through. So that's why I love playing away from home. I'm hoping I'm going to be right and we're not going to be crashed out at CSKA Moscow. Apparently that's how you say it.
Yeah,
a trump card. I don't know.
Well, you chose Welbeck.
Yeah,
right?
but you might be
don't
playing anyway.
Ask for more choices.
Go on.
Well, he'll play a part. He's going to play a part. And the original question was who could be the trump card off the bench. So, Harry, who could be our trump card?
It's a difficult one, because I probably would have said Welbeck, because I would have assumed that when fit, Alex Lacazette will be starting up top. But I think it's difficult because, there's so many players that you don't know whether they'll be in the side or not. You don't know whether Wilshire's going to play, whether Ramsey's going to play. Someone like Alex Iwobi, for me, can have great impact at times, but it's just whether he can do it consistently. That's the question mark over him at the moment. I'm actually going to say Iwobi. I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to say Iwobi because apart from the fact he's probably the worst finisher I've ever seen at Arsenal Football Club, he can pass the ball. He does link up with people well, and he's a good dribbler. And I think sometimes when he plays in that wide left position and he steps inside, I think he brings defenders in with him, and he opens up room for our fullbacks to get forward. And often that can be a pretty useful thing. So I'm going to say Alex Iwobi.
Sorry, I do apologise. That was my phone ringing, and it was Iwobi calling to rip you a brand new one there, Harry, because you were absolutely ripping him. So, I'll have to give him a call back, though. So apologies. I mean, for me, I think, is Rambo fit? Is he back? Is Rambo back?
Do you know, I don't know.
Is he?
And I'm assuming, Soph, that if
Lacazette's training.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that CSKA Moscow is much more important than playing Stoke at home. So I'm wondering what team he's picking on Sunday.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's an interesting question, and that's definitely going to play. It's definitely going to play a part. And I think that midfield now, with if Rambo is fit, and then obviously we've got Jack Wilshere fitness issues right now. Xhaka has been much improved in our last 2 or 3 games. So I think that's going to be his biggest headache of all. But staying within, before we look at some of our potential opponents, should we beat CSKA Moscow, how important is it, guys, for Arsenal fans to band together and come back to the Emirates? I personally, I wrote a poem about it a couple weeks ago, and I personally feel that every fan has their right to exercise, whatever they want to do, whether they want to come, go, stay away, call it what you want. But I think in games like this, in a quarterfinal of the Europa League on a European night, shouldn't fans come and support the team? Amanda, what are your thoughts on that? You both go to home games. I travel and go as much as I can. I think it's really important that we put in a show from a fan point of view as well.
I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I know, like, one of my family members hasn't gone to one Europa League. He's not interested. And I don't think that's because it's detrimental to, disrespectful, to the Europa League. He's just not interested in going Thursday night football. Me, I love watching all different games, as in FA Cup, Premier League, Europa. Everyone's different. I've got a feeling, Sophie, it's going to be the same until maybe we hit the semi-final, and then I think you might see a difference.
Harry, what side of the fence are you on with this one? What are your feelings towards the fans staying away and how it? And look, when we're playing teams like Moscow, I mean, you talk about fans, and if we get further, let's say we meet a Marseille down the road or an Atletico, I mean, you're talking about fans that no matter what, they support their team, they get behind their team. What's your thought?
For me, do you know what? I sit here and I hear people talking about, Arsenal fans not turning up and so on and so forth and protesting against the club. The fact of the matter is this: Arsenal have however many thousands of season ticket holders who have all paid for their tickets. So whether you go or not, Stan Kroenke doesn't care. That's the honest truth. The money's paid. The club have made the money. It's not, it might be a protest, but it's not actually doing any harm to the ownership. So I don't see why they would sort of be so alarmed by it. This thing about Arsenal fans not turning up in the stadium looking somewhat empty, this is not just this season. This has been going on for quite some time. In particular, when you look around at the upper tiers, there are lots of people that don't turn up on a regular basis. And I think whilst we're struggling as a team, it's a very easy thing to point to and say, oh, look, the Emirates was empty tonight. But in actual fact, this has been happening for a while. I was one of the few that braved it to go out in the snow when we played Manchester City, and the ground was not even half full. And that was as much down to the weather as it was to the discontent among Arsenal fans. So I think sometimes we make a little bit too much of this. I think this is something that's been happening for quite some time. I don't think any
But not to this extent, Harry. It's not to this extent.
Maybe not, but I don't think any football club in this country has 60,000 ultras that are going to turn up week in, week out, sun, rain or shine. And that's the fundamental thing here. I think, there's so much TV coverage now. Even if the game's not on TV, it's so easy to find a stream or something on the internet to watch it. It just puts people off, I think. And, there's a lot of people that have busy family lives and maybe just feel like, I can stay home and watch 90 minutes rather than give up my whole day to go and watch a team that, quite frankly, I'm not very happy with at the minute. I don't agree with it, but I just think that's what people are thinking.
No, you're absolutely right. I think people are prioritising now, whereas Arsenal was always number one on the list. They may be third or fourth on the list now. And I was really mad at Mkhitaryan, actually, for having a pop at the fans a few weeks ago, because I just felt like he couldn't justify making a comment like that. He's just still new and he doesn't understand the culture of and the pain of what the fans have been through over the last few seasons. And I feel like if I look at it from the other side of the coin, does it affect the players? And does that become then detrimental to team performance? And then in the end, the fans are the ones that end up losing out anyway, Amanda, especially the ones that do go and support the club. So it's like a catch-22 all the way around, no?
Yeah, I get upset. I do get upset seeing the seats like this. It reminds me of the Highbury days in the early 80s where I was able to put my feet over the seat in front. The Emirates this season has been the worst I've ever known. It started at the end of last season to get less and less, but not like this. Literally where I sat the other night, I had 6 seats plus mine. I could have laid down that. And
Did you? Did you have a little lie down?
I just kept moving seat and whoever I wanted to chat to or watch wherever I wanted to watch, because I had that option, which is a shame. We need against Moscow for it to be rocking. Want to win the Europa League. I'm in the business to win trophies. I don't get it. Maybe it's my age. I'm not sure, but I was there before Wenger, so I don't know. People that just know Wenger just see this as a small competition. I don't. He's never won this with us. So let's go for it. Definitely. I know. It would be.
And listen, when I was talking about Burnley, I wasn't talking about losing to Burnley. I never want to lose games. I just feel like if we're having the kind of season we are in the league, and as I said, if we're not in Europa League right now, I'm just saying, I think we need to focus on being better within our own championship again, within the Premier League again. And I think that's the biggest gripe a lot of fans have. I don't think that, you know, for them, I think it's a slap in the face that, yes, we've missed out on Champions League, but it's for the first time in 19 years. And we've been qualifying for it with worse teams than this. And we've discussed that on previous pods as well, haven't we? That we've been able to, and he's been able to achieve getting us into the Champions League season after season with lesser players. So, you know, I think that what fans want is they don't want to lose to Watford. They don't want to lose 1-0 away to Stoke. I mean, this is a big game for us on Sunday. We lost to them and we were so awful earlier in the season. So now it's an opportunity for them. And I think that's what the major gripe is for the fans. Let's look outwardly a minute. And everyone has Atletico Madrid winning Europa League. I mean, they are the favourites, aren't they? They are the golden children of Europa League. So let's park them to the side for a minute. Based on how we play and what our culture is. He's moving again. That's a really, you need to oil that chair, Harry.
I'm not even moving.
Oil that chair.
I wonder where that noise is coming from. That's funny.
I think we've got a gremlin. So based on how we play and what our culture is this season, which is the lesser team? And I'm assuming now we're going to go through to the next round. Which is the lesser rated team we really don't want to meet because they could potentially expose our weaknesses? But also look at it from kind of the fans and the travel I mentioned, especially with, you know, Marseille, Lazio, those kind of teams. Harry, what are your thoughts on, you know, there's Marseille, there's Leipzig, there's Red Bull, there's Lazio,
Sporting.
Red Bull Leipzig, sorry. Yeah, I was looking at first, second legs here. What are your thoughts on those lesser teams that we may want to avoid or we should be afraid of?
I've always said from the early on in the competition that Lazio are a team that you don't want to face. I watch quite a bit of Italian football. I do some articles on it weekly. And for me, Lazio are a very underrated outfit. I think they started the season like an absolute house on fire with Inzaghi as their manager. They've been brilliant. But then they had a little bit of a dip over Christmas. And they've not really recovered from that. But they're a fantastic team. They've got some great players, and Ciro Immobile being the standout man for them. And on their day, they're capable of beating anyone in this competition, I think. And also, the Stadio Olimpico is not a pleasant place to go. They put together a fantastic atmosphere there. You know, clubs like Lazio, they have pedigree, and same with Marseille. Leipzig are a bit of an unknown quantity for me because I don't know too much about them. I know they beat Bayern Munich in their last Bundesliga game, so they're no mugs. But you know, like I said in the beginning, Lazio is the one I worry about the most, aside from Atletico, of course. So I'd be happy to avoid them.
Amanda, what about you?
Little bit like that. I was concerned about Lazio. Obviously, Madrid is the main one, but they've got to beat Sporting yet. You know, nothing is certain. I didn't think we'd get this far, but I'd like to play Leipzig in the final.
You know, I think Marseille are nuts. Like, I think that their team is a little crazy, their fans are a little crazy, and we played them in Champions League. We were in the same group as them, weren't we, 3 years ago? And I think we won 1-1, lost 1. I might have that wrong, but there's something about them. I mean, Dimitri Payet is the type of player that can turn a game on its head. They've definitely had their moments in Liga this season. There's something about them, I think, that just makes me shudder just a little bit if I'm going to pick a team outside of Atletico Madrid. Okay, so let me ask you guys this before we move on to a little bit of Jack Wilshere. Can we win this, Harry?
Yeah, of course we can. I think we're capable of winning it. I just hope that, you know, we don't see the sort of fragilities that we've seen so often this season. And you know, like the Carling Cup final, League Cup final, Carabao Cup final, whatever it's called these days. You know, we just didn't turn up that day. And my fear is that Arsenal are capable of doing that, are capable of going missing ahead of a big game. And that's my fear, you know, because this is not the greatest Arsenal team. And if we do damage perhaps against CSKA in the first leg, if we're to concede a couple of away goals, then I'm not sure we're good enough to recover from it at the moment.
Amanda, I'm going to ask the question a little bit differently to you and get you out on this one. If we do win it, can't you see the board extending Wenger's contract again? And is there an argument against that if he's won 3 FA Cups and the Europa League in the last, 4.5, 5 years?
It's done. Just win the Europa League. You won't be there next season.
I don't know. You seem very confident about that, but I'm not sure.
Remember my hashtag, Mystic Mand, okay?
Yeah, but I'm Sostradamus.
Yeah, but I'm Mystic Mand, and honestly, I'm better than you.
Right then, Jack Wilshere. Yeah. Right then, let's get off the subject then. Jack Wilshere, injured again on England duty. Of course, we know the wrangle's going on with his contract. What would you do with Jack, Amanda?
Sign him up. Next question.
Okay, but sign him up, but do you feel like he has the legs right now to be asking for more money? Because I don't think he should be asking for more money. Okay. I think he should be happy with what we're giving him. Don't you?
Allegedly asking for more money. We don't know anything, do we really? We don't know what he was promised when he went to Bournemouth. This is my argument about the media. They're saying Jack's asking for more money. If he is, good on him. In your job, don't you ask for more money? I do.
Yeah, but when I deserve it, I haven't been, he's been injured, has hardly played. This is his first full season since when? Even at Bournemouth last year when he was out on loan, he got injured. I just feel like he should be grateful that Arsenal want to keep him at this point. As great as he's been this season, I think knuckle down, sign a contract, and then I'm sure the club will reward you if you do this for the next 2 or 3 seasons in a row.
You don't know that they're going to reward him for any contract. We don't know anything. If you're telling me he's asking for £300,000-400,000 a week, then no, he doesn't deserve it. But then I don't think any player does, but that's another matter. I want him signed up, and I want him our future captain. Thanks.
Harry, do you agree with Amanda?
No, and she's going to hate me for saying this.
Yes.
Yay.
Let's get some friction going. Let's get some friction going on this pod. It's way too nice.
All right. So my thoughts on Jack Wilshere are simple, really. This guy. All these reports came out the other day, didn't they? That, Arsene Wenger told him he could leave in the summer and everyone went mad. Well, the fact is that in the summer, when Arsene Wenger made these comments, Jack Wilshere had failed to impress at Bournemouth and was yet to prove his fitness. So you can't blame a manager and a club for doubting his ability to stay fit, because this is a player who has a horrendous injury record. And the comeback I hear from so many people is, but it's because Wenger burnt him out and Wenger's training regime is no good. And that might well be the case, but the damage is already done. So, Jack Wilshere is a great player. I'd love him to stay at Arsenal. Of course I would. But he shouldn't be holding the club to ransom if that is the case. Because at the end of the day, if I was absent from work half the time because I couldn't get myself in, then I wouldn't get paid. So I don't see why it should be any different for Jack. Another quick thing that I would say as well, and this might be a little bit controversial, but if Jack Wilshere wasn't English and Jack Wilshere was Santi Cazorla, for example, and this situation was happening, would people be saying the same thing? Because, a lot of people have warmed to Jack because he's come through the youth and he's a British player and so on. But I think if you look at Jack the player rather than Jack the person, then the club are right to be concerned about his fitness, and it is a risk investing so much money in him.
No.
Bravo, Harry. Bravo.
He's played so well this season, so well in every game he's played.
Anyway, let's talk about a player who, listen, let's hope he signs. He's a good addition to the team. No more money. Just get on with it. Prove your fitness. I'm all in on what Harry said as well. If he's not an England player, this isn't happening. This conversation's over and done, and he's probably out of the club already. El Neni does sign a new deal. Fair or foul? Amanda?
Fair. I like El Neni. I've liked him since day one, to be honest. I think he started in a cup game, when his debut for us, and I liked him then. And I think if he's played in the right position with the right players, he's a good player.
Someone else who seems to have improved when he's been asked to come in over the last few games. The deal's until 2022.
Yeah, I think he's got potential to keep improving. He's definitely improved this season. I just think Arsenal fans need to give him a bit of a break, to be honest. He's not a regular, is he?
Harry?
No, I'm happy he signed. I'm happy that he's extended his contract. I think he's a good utility player. He can come in that midfield and plug holes when you need him, does the simple thing. He seems to have a good attitude, which is important, I guess. I'm happy he signed, but it's not the midfield player that, we all wanted to hear us sign. So there'll be some people that will be, looking at it from a sort of glass half empty perspective rather than half full.
He's Flamini 2.0 for me without the aggression. He's that kind of player that can come in and, play. If you needed him to play at the back as well, he could probably do that. Does he light my fire? No. Will he have a good World Cup with Egypt? Probably. Is he a nice fella? Yes. But he's just one of those kind of, nice player. Could probably get into a Newcastle team, would never get into City's team, Chelsea's team, United. Probably wouldn't even get into the Spurs team right now. So it's a little underwhelming. And if they wanted us to be excited about something during the interlull, then yes, that was definitely the wrong announcement to be making. But hey ho, what are we going to do? Right. Wenger, he says that the only reason people are saying the things they are towards him is, we basically said that people are being ageist. Your thoughts on this, and we'll kick off with Harry.
Mr. Wenger has become one of the best deflectors in the game of football. I think, so many people are making, this has been such a big story, but the fact is he's just trying to deflect off the fact that his team's not been performing. That's all it is. I've got nothing else to say really on that. I don't think that people are being ageist, and I don't think Arsene Wenger actually believes that's the case either. So,
Well, he's not as big a deflector as Mourinho, is he, Amanda? But he's definitely, making people focus on something other than what's really going on at the club, and very clever, and the timing couldn't be better, could it?
I don't know what he's talking about, and I actually think he's the biggest deflector of all. I think he's much more deflecting than Mourinho. Mourinho's just
what?
No, Mourinho doesn't deflect the way Wenger does. Mourinho's just a twat. Wenger is clever in what I can't honestly. He's just a twat. In the way he is, and the way he speaks about other clubs and stuff like that. Wenger will get, you'll talk about the defence and he'll focus on the referee, or that's what he does. He tries to deflect. He's the best spin doctor, the best politician you'll ever meet. I'll give him that. He's fantastic. He's a fantastic salesman, just not a fantastic manager. And it's nothing to do with his age or anything like that. Where has this come from? Do you know what? I don't even know how old he is. 67, 68, 60. I don't even know. Because I don't work on age. If you're good enough to do your job, you're good enough to do your job whatever age you are. It goes for 16-year-old footballers or 68 or 9-year-old managers. He's not good enough to run our club anymore. I'm sorry, that's my view.
I don't think I remember anyone saying that about Sir Alex Ferguson, right? And I guess they didn't because he was so good at his job.
Exactly.
And I don't see anyone saying that about Jupp Heynckes at Bayern Munich, who won the treble before Pep Guardiola went and took over, and now has revitalized the team since Ancelotti left, and potentially could win a good few more trophies at Bayern as well. So wrapping up our social media and Arsenal news here. This one I think you guys will love. Get your teeth stuck into this, eh? Get a little HP sauce on the side. It's going to be meaty and lovely and delicious. And I'm wondering which side you lean on. Mr. Alexis Sanchez, ex-Arsenal, ex being the operative word, his comments about being tired and needing time, etc., and how everyone's saying how miserable and unhappy he is since he left the club. Do you relish these days, or are you happy to see him fail, or do you feel for him? Amanda, where do you sit when it comes to Mr. Sanchez?
Oh, my God. Are you serious that anyone would feel for him? Are you joking?
There are a couple people I've seen that do. There are two. There are two.
Lunatics.
Yeah, there is some poetic justice to this, isn't there, Harry, in terms of his behaviour, how he left, then, that fantastic tweet from El Neni where he goaded him that he's not even going to the World Cup. I think that was a true indication that people do hate him in the dressing room. I think it was it Raphael Honigstein's comments a few weeks ago about how underplayed it was in terms of how hated he was. They were talking about stat sheets going up and Sanchez, ran the least when he always acted like he did the most.
Yeah.
It's nice to sit back and put your feet up and make a cup of tea and watch this unfold, is it not?
Well, it's strange because obviously he joined Manchester United and so I want him to fail. Of course I do. I want Manchester United to fail in everything they ever do. But what I will say is Alexis Sanchez is a winner, and that's one thing you have to give him. He always wanted to win. Whether he went about it the right way or not is another thing entirely. But I just feel like he's joined the Antichrist of football in Jose Mourinho, and he's not being allowed to play the game that he wants to play. I think he went there, he was sold a dream, join Manchester United, the biggest club in the country, the biggest crowd, exciting, attacking football, when in reality that club died when Alex Ferguson retired. And ever since then, it's just been boring manager after boring manager. And in reality, Alexis isn't going to flourish there. He's not allowed the freedom he was allowed at Arsenal, and just goes to show sometimes that the grass isn't always greener. But I have a bit of sympathy for him because I feel like the manager he's now working with will not allow him to express himself. And so in that sense, from a footballing perspective, I feel sorry for him. But as a character, he kicked up such a stink. And
Harry.
Listen, that's three people, Amanda.
Harry.
See, I told you.
Harry.
But Amanda, I'm a football fan, and I like to see good players doing well. And I just think, for me, I'm so anti-Mourinho that I will just blame him for the world's problems. So I'm going to blame him for Sanchez's fall.
No way on earth. This is how Sanchez has been playing for us the last few months. I didn't want him to go. I was one of the ones that were desperate for him to stay. But as match after match went on and tantrum after tantrum went on, you could see the team weren't united. Like look at that. Look at that pun. Didn't even plan that one. They're not united. And unfortunately, he has carried his form into United. Forget Mourinho. This is not Mourinho's doing, and I blame him for everything, all right? This is this little... I don't even want to say it, because we had the best years of Sanchez, and I love him. No, I'm not going to. I loved him, and we all did, what he only did for us every single game, non-stop. But it got to the point where it became about him, and then the stories were coming out that he was causing trouble, and, whatever. But he has carried his form into United, which I love. I think it's brilliant. Listen, I'm loving it.
Harry can drive up the motorway, and go join him for lunch because apparently he eats alone. So Harry, take a little jaunt up there in your car and, sit down with Sanchez, have a little bite to eat with him because he's feeling a little bit lonely. But go on, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that, he threw tantrums and so on and whatever he did at Arsenal. But for me, the rest of our team are losers. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him. There is no fire in the bellies of the likes of Laurent Koscielny or, Aaron Ramsey or the list goes on. Those Arsenal players are spineless at the moment.
I think he played up to it as
Harry,
well. I think he played on it a lot.
Yeah, maybe
and towards the end, he did. Yeah,
Harry, can I just come in and then we can finish on this? But what I'd like to say as well, sometimes everyone's fire in their belly is a little bit different. Okay, everyone needs to be managed different. If you've got a boss and you've got 5 or 6 people working for you, not those 5 or 6 have fire in their bellies the way that you expect it. Okay, so maybe Koscielny didn't like that behaviour. It doesn't make you a winner because you've got fire in your belly. There is other ways to win, if you understand what I mean. There's clever, there's teamwork, there's discipline, there's lots of different things. If the old Alexis Sanchez left and went to United and did what he was doing, what he did for us 18 months ago, I'd be bloody devastated. But I'm not, because to me, we had the best years. He went for money. He didn't go for trophies. So goodbye, Sanchez.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. #boom. You are listening to Highbury and Heels with myself, Sophie Nicolau, and Amanda. And we have a very special guest on the show today, Harry Symeou. You can listen to him on Chronicles of a Gooner. He's got a book coming out, which he'll be able to plug at the end of the show. And seeing as he's an Arsenal fan, he is our Arsenal fan of the week. You can be an Arsenal fan of the week as well and join us on the show. Give us a tweet at Highbury Hills. You can find us and listen to previous shows on YouTube at youtube.com Highbury Hills. Some brilliant previous guests. We've got some great guests coming up. We'll let you know who's podding with us next week as well at the end of the show. So keep listening. All right, time for a little bit of fun with the H&H squad. Harry, are you ready to get stuck into a little bit of a quick fire round with us? You got to be really ready. I mean, like Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp ready, not Gervinho ready. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're making me nervous. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So we'll start on the cowbell and we will end on the cowbell. Party like a rock star with the Invincibles or 89 squad?
89 squad.
Invincibles.
Score the winning goal in last seconds of the Champions League final a la Manchester United or pull a Michael Thomas type goal to win the league?
Champions League final.
Champions League final.
You are banned in the final of the Europa League, but you're captain of the squad. Do you pull a John Terry and still lift the trophy or leave it to whoever was the captain on the night?
Leave it to the captain on the night.
I'm definitely taking the glory. I'm definitely lifting the trophy.
Would you rather get relegated from the Premier League than see Tottenham be crowned champions of Europe or England?
Oh, my God.
That's a bit of a tough one for the quick fire, I do admit.
Harry, you go first.
No doubt about it. I'll take relegation all day.
Yeah. I'm torn on this one. But, yeah, I think I'd go relegation. We're going to get lambasted for that. Go on.
Yeah, totally. Joe Chimlo, Mikel Arteta or Thomas Tuchel as our next coach?
Joachim Low.
Amanda. I don't want any of them.
Lift the World Cup for your country or the Champions League for Arsenal?
Oh, Champions League for Arsenal, thank you.
Champions League for Arsenal.
Save a penalty to win the World Cup or score a last-minute goal to win the World Cup?
Score last-minute goal to win.
Yeah, same. Score the goal.
Prefer to see our French, German, Egyptian or Colombian players win the World Cup? And if I've missed anyone, you can let me know.
Instead of England?
Out of those choices, because we may not have...
Sorry.
Jack Wilshere may be going. It's quick fire.
Oh, sorry. German.
Egyptian.
Hoola! If England win the World Cup, it means some Spurs players would be world champions. Are you pro or against this, even if it means England losing in the final?
No, I want England to win.
I'd rather England lose than Spurs.
Okay, we'll get you out on this one. Rather see Messi or Ronaldo lift the World Cup for their country?
Messi.
Messi all day long.
All day long. I was going to say that.
I would pick Ronaldo. Yay! Because it makes the argument even better because Messi clearly is a more gifted footballer. So if Ronaldo ends up winning a Euros and a World Cup, can you imagine the conversation after that? All right. Well done. Quick fire round. 10 out of 10, Harry. You did good, son. You did good. Take a bow.
Thank you very much.
Pressure. And you coped with the pressure, Harry.
You know what? At work, they call me Horizontal Harry because I'm so laid back, apparently. So
That's amazing. The name of my production company is called Horizontal Dogs. So you can join us anytime.
Okay, so it's my part of the show. Woohoo! Snog, marry, avoid. Harry, you're going to stay for this one. You need to pick. And I have decided that it's going to be a World Cup one. We are going for David Ospina, El Neni, or Granit Xhaka. Snog, marry, avoid, Harry.
Oh my God, this is very difficult for me.
You missed next week. We're doing Arsenal ladies. Sorry, you missed out on that one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Or Arsenal women, as they know now.
So, who was it? Xhaka, El Neni, and Ospina?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to avoid El Neni. I'm going to snog Xhaka. And I'm going to marry Ospina because he seems like such a nice guy.
There we go. That wasn't too hard.
I can't believe I'm answering these.
That's brilliant.
Oh, it gets worse.
All right. Demian, our fan of the week last week, did it with us as well, and it was hilarious. So it's always funny. Yes, all right. So here we go. I'm gonna marry Ospina because he seems just, lovely. It's really tough for me in terms of marrying Ospina versus El Neni, right? You know what? I'm going to go for the South American snog. So I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to snog Ospina. I'm going to marry El Neni because he seems like a really nice boy, and I'm going to avoid Xhaka because he just seems like he has a bit of a bad temper and I just can't deal with that.
Okay, so I'm going to marry El Neni. Same as you, but for different reasons, because he's now going to be in work till 2022. So Princess Guna will be, what's that word I'm trying to say?
Lady El Neni?
Yeah, Lady of Leisure. No, accustomed to what she's used to. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm just tired. I'm avoiding Ospina. He just worries me. Honestly, he would worry me as he worries me in goals sometimes. And I'm going to snog the pants off of Xhaka because he's gorgeous.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very good choices there. We'll be throwing a few little World Cup nuggets at you between now and the summer, and we'll have some really good content coming up during the World Cup as well. So watch out for that. Good choices there, Amanda. Predictions time, people. We have a game coming up in the Premier League. It feels like it's been forever. And what a game to come back to. Second from bottom of the Premier League, Stoke. They beat us 1-0 earlier on in the season. I think before that, they hadn't beaten us since 2014. You can correct me if I'm wrong. We'll do a fact check at the end of the show. Harry, what say you about Arsenal versus Stoke?
Arsenal 2, Stoke 0, I'm going to say.
Ooh, yeah.
Pretty confident.
Pretty confident, eh? Can't see where any goals would be coming from for Stoke, even though we're very suspect at the back. Although we're coming off some confident football playing, Amanda. What do you think? What does your mystic mind say? What does your crystal football say?
Do you know how close I've been with my predictions recently? They've really been close. Some have been spot on. Right, I'm just saying because I never win anything. I predict Arsenal 3, Stoke 1.
I like that prediction very, very much. I am going to go for Arsenal 2, Stoke 1. I think the winning wheels continue. The team just slots right back in, and hopefully they've all come back from the Interdull fit and ready to fight. Harry, tell everyone where they can find you. Tell them about your book that's coming out in 30 seconds. Go.
You can find me on Twitter at Harry Symeou. That's Symeou. I've got a book coming out in June. Fingers crossed, everything still all goes well. Which is called The Chronicles of a Gooner. And that is a fan's account of the Premier League season, of the whole season, Europa and all, talking about all the big stories. And it features interviews with Ray Parlour and Kevin Campbell as well. So really looking forward to getting that out there. I've also got a Twitter page for that, which is at Chronicles AFC, and our weekly podcast goes up on there as well. So, and thanks to the girls at Highbury and Hills for having me on.
You are very welcome. You are a delightful young fella, and we wish you all the best, and we will do everything we can also when the book comes out. And we love supporting fellow Arsenal podcasters as well. We're an alumni It's like going to college in America, isn't it, Amanda? You're part of one big school together, right? The Arsenal school.
Gooner family. I love having Harry on. Thank you, Harry.
Even though I said I don't want them to give Jack Wilshere all that money.
Absolutely. Harry, I love it when people disagree with me because I will be proven right. No, I like it when you can debate and not abuse, and that is really important. You know, football is all about opinions, and, you know, it cannot be right, can it? It's your opinion, my opinion, it's how we feel. And, you know, I just, like you and like Soph, we just want our club to do well. That's it. At the end of the day, whether you disagree or agree with loving Ozil or not, we all want him to do well. So
That's right. That's right.
Amanda, why don't you tell everyone who's going to be on the show next week?
Well, we've got a couple of exciting things coming up. Not actually next week, but the week after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're getting Easter mixed up because you're Greek. I don't even know what that means, but I just said it. Yes.
I'll wait for my flowners. Have you ever had a flowner? Have you ever had a flowner? Flowner, yeah.
Amanda, I'll bring you one to the Emirates.
Harry.
You need to meet me on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, and bring me a flowner. Sounds painful, to be honest, but there we go.
They are delightful.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, my Easter treat.
Especially with a cup of tea or coffee. Oh, my God.
With so Harry Symeou, however you say. Anyway, I'm digressing. Yes, in a couple of weeks' time, we have the fabulous Mr. Kevin Campbell coming on to chat to us at Highbury and Hills, and we're going to do this a little bit differently. He doesn't know yet, but he listens to our pods, and I'm sure I'll be getting a message on Twitter tomorrow once he's listened to this. Yeah, we're going to be doing a little bit different. So any Everton fans listening to this, which probably won't be many, or if you've got any friends from Everton, let us know, because we're going to ask Mr. Campbell some questions from some of his previous clubs.
Yep, definitely. So get stuck in, Gooners. And again, you know where you can find us at Highbury Hills on Twitter. Check out YouTube Highbury Hills, and on Facebook with Highbury and Hills. Thanks again, Harry. We will be talking to you soon, and I'm sure you and Amanda will be going at it on Twitter in the coming days. Good luck to the Arsenal on Sunday. Beat that Stoke. And don't you ever forget, and Amanda will remind you right now,
it's always Arsenal.
Hey, I'm Jules Breach.
Hi, I'm Adrian Childs.
Hi, I'm Jason Candy.
Hi, my name's Lee Dixon.
I'm Alan Smith.
Hi, I'm Ryan Giggs.
Hello, I'm Matt Lucas.
Hi, I'm Andrew from Arseblog.
I'm Gary Lineker, and you're listening to Highbury and Hills.